Our next question comes from Anissa R. She says, "Hi, Austin and Robert. My name's Anissa, and I love listening to your podcast." Thank you so much, Anissa. We love creating these episodes. I have a couple of questions, and I know you might not be able to answer all of them, but the first one is most important. My husband and I are in our early 30s, and we make about $250,000 per year. We're currently aiming on maxing out our Roth IRAs. We have investments in Fundrise and SPYI. We're investing toward our 401ks and everything in between. We are wondering how else we can continue to allocate our investments. Separately, we also want to start investing into a 529 account for our 1-year-old, but we're a bit concerned about too much exposure to the S&P 500. Do you have any perspective here? Okay, so my brain immediately goes to, wow, you all are making $250,000 per year. You have a 1-year-old. I'm not sure if anyone's staying home to take care of the 1-year-old or not, so that income gets cut in half in the future. But let's say it doesn't. Let's say you all are some rock stars making $250,000 a year, and you've got $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 per year to invest. Immediately what happens in my brain is, how the heck can I allocate this money in a way to help me retire early? Now, retiring early means a lot of different things for a lot of people, but very simply, it's just a math equation. If your investments are producing cash flow for you that is the same or more than the monthly expenses that you allocate to living, then you're sort of retired, right? You are financially free, as some people call it. Financially independent, retire early is a FIRE acronym movement that people like to talk about. But that's where my head goes. So maybe for you, it's like, okay, let's make sure that we have the retirement figured out. If that's the Roth IRA, the 401k, the SPYI, the Fundrise, all that fun stuff. But maybe you still have $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year hanging around. Does that mean maybe you can now go out and buy your first rental property and start making some cash flow that way? Perhaps that might be an Airbnb, that might be some sort of triplex or duplex, or maybe you even allocate more money to SPYI inside of a normal taxable brokerage account so you can withdraw the dividend income, the distributions on a monthly basis to your checking account without having those retirement penalties because it might be in a retirement account. So I just want you guys to be thinking about it like that. You are definitely making enough money where early retirement is on the table. It just comes down to, how do you want to be thinking about investing with retirement and early retirement in mind? It's kind of a good balance there. But Robert, I'd love to hear your perspective here as well.
So that was really, really good. And I'll just add a few points to it. In my opinion, you're right. High earners in a good spot already. I'm hearing middle 30s. So I would look at it this way. I would probably add in some bond exposure going into 2024. We've been talking about that. So maybe some BNDI. That is a NEOS fund that we really love. For anyone listening, you can look it up at neosfunds.com. I would also look at maybe doing some venture investing into startups, because at your rate, you can start to take some higher risk investments. So I would look at REITs and venture investing. And then I would also fully optimize a crypto portfolio as part of my overall strategy, because I believe that crypto is going to be the most profitable and best sector to be investing in over the next 2 to 3 years. So that would be what I would add to what you're already doing. You guys are doing a great job, but those are the items that I would consider to get you fully flushed out, to make sure that you're fully diversified throughout your portfolios, so that way you can withstand any ups and downs in the markets.
And as someone who earns take-home pay in the hundreds of thousands of dollars per year myself, what Robert has described is largely what I'm doing, as well as what I described, right? I've got my own sort of early retirement path that I'm working on. But I mean, I invested about $220,000 this year into the markets. And that was across cryptocurrency. That was across, my solo 401k retirement accounts. I also, to your point, opened up the 529 Anissa, and I'm doing that for my nieces and nephews. I'm doing about $150, $200 per month there on Vanguard. I've got it in a 80% S&P, 20% VUG, which is a growth fund that Vanguard has kind of waiting there. There's a bunch of ways to allocate. Oh, I also did some venture investing, to Robert's point. And if you're looking about different ways to execute upon this, the only advice that I could give you is to try and keep it as simple as possible. There's 1,000 cryptocurrencies out there. Just grab your favorite two: Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe an XRP or a Chainlink, or something else you might read online that you're passionate about. And then from a venture investing perspective, there's AngelList, there's I think Start Engine, there's Republic.com, there's a bunch of these other little things like that. And And if that is even sort of confusing, then maybe it's a better idea to take that money and go buy real estate and start your own company, quote unquote, as a real estate investor. There's just a bunch of ways to think about this, but if you can keep it as simple as possible, then I think you're going to be just fine. And the last piece of advice, kind of reflecting upon myself here, is tax optimization. Work with a tax professional. You all now are making enough money where taxes matter, right? I had to pay $120,000 in 2023 to taxes, and I hate that. And there's definitely ways I could have optimized, and I didn't. So I'm definitely going to be optimizing in 2024 for that. And so as high income earners yourselves, tax optimization is very important.
Love it, love it, love it.